Hi, today I have a message called Spirit Can Take It From Here. Starting with, we invite you to notice two thoughts. There's something I've done wrong that I have to fix. There is something they have done wrong that they have to fix. So basically, problem. Anywhere I think there's a problem, instead of trying to jump into a solution or jump into what appear to be my thoughts about what the solution should be, but which are not my thoughts at all, they're egos. Instead of doing that, I can remember when there is the perception of problem, how to respond. And the first thing for me is notice how I feel. If I don't feel good, peaceful, joyful, I'm attached to thoughts that aren't true, and I'm in a trajectory of proving those thoughts to be right. That's easily changed. I just need to reorient. I just need to change direction, but I need to do that consciously. So the feeling is the most important thing. When the feeling covers up the awareness of joy, I'm using feeling to mean an ego thing right now. The word feeling could just as easily be used to describe our state of being, but the best I can do right now is to use the word feeling to describe or point out the addictive highs and lows, and they're equally addictive. Pleasure and pain are equally addictive, and we keep repeating those loops for ourselves and then perceiving others too, also in those loops of repeating pleasure and pain. So when I talk about feeling, it's either a high or a low. And a good touchstone is like if there's a not good feeling, we can't really tell the false highs apart from the actual state of being very well yet, maybe. But we know when we feel tension or stress. And maybe that's why Byron Katie in her work uses the word stressful thoughts, because you do begin to notice that ego's highs are anxious and overexcited and grasping, needy. So they do have a stressful charge to them, even when they seem to be very happy thoughts. Feeling so important, noticing when I'm attached to a high or a low, and then backing out of that, changing my direction, resting in the state of being that I always share with you. And the state of being that I always share with you is not caused by anything in the world. Nothing in the world can bring that on. It's just always here. It can be reflected back to me in the world. It can beam back. The world can be allowed to beam back to me my beingness and yours, which is joy, peace, love, light. Those are just words, they can only be pointers, but they're all the same one thing. Truth, grace. The world can be used as a tool to beam this back. But when there's the thought and there's a certainty of a problem, I can notice, am I attached to a pleasure-pain feeling, an up or a down? Am I aware of the actual state of being I share with you always, no matter what seems to be happening in the world? If I'm not, I need to withdraw from the feeling and rest in the state of being. And this is much different than talk of suppressing feelings. We need to notice when we're addicted, when we're attached to feeling. We have to notice. But once we have noticed, feeling doesn't have any further job for us. Being attached to feeling, and just be careful how you hear my use of this word, because the same word can be used to mean the exact opposite. So try to hear it with your heart. When I noticed I'm attached to the addiction, there's no further use for that illusion of up or down. So don't have to analyze, interpret, attach events, things, people in the world to these feelings. It was just the initial, very helpful signal. The feeling changes from the thing sought after, or the thing we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid the bad feelings. We're seeking the highs, trying to avoid the lows, right? And meanwhile, we're addicted to the lows, but we don't realize it because the lows, just as much as the highs, keep reinforcing our sense of separate self. My separate self versus your separate self. My separate self next to a politician's separate self. And that's the lie about us. We can't do that. We can't separate, but we pretended to. And now in this landscape, we seem to have problems. Once we've given proper attention to the feeling, it's been our alarm clock, it's been its signal. It has fully served its purpose. So thank you, feeling. It's done now. And the feelings themselves are illusion. The feelings attached to pleasure and pain are illusion. And then if we go back into what is the true state of being we're always in, but we cover up with illusions, that's joy, that's peace, that's love. Everyone's always in the state as beings. But the persons we see reflect a lot of up and down feelings. But as beings, everyone's always in joy. We've just covered it up. So it makes us interested to see what can uncover and reveal to me the true state of this being. And it can be a lot of fun to see the person may appear to be fill in the blank with terrible feeling. But the being's actually right there in joy. The being's never stopped being in joy. I could say for a second, but I mean time doesn't apply to the being. The being's eternal. The being's a joy. And to be able to see how unnecessary a particular masquerade of person is, and to be able to see our ability to look toward the being, all of that is wrapped in how do problems get solved. Sometimes it may seem that you play a role in solving them or somebody else does solve them. It can look like that in whatever remains of time and space. But the actual answer is transformation. Everyone's that powerful. Everyone is mind, and everyone has the power to allow transformation. And once we get the hang of it, we'll be laughing. How hard did we make this for us every time we thought we had a problem when all we had to do was to allow transformation? Just let Spirit, which is what we are together, get in there and do what Spirit does. And nowhere does an ego have to manage any of that. We're just here for the ride of whatever remains of time and space as we're conducted through and out of the nightmare together. Okay, notice also that when you criticize, you seem to find a refuge there. Yeah, this is an old knee-jerk I keep encountering, like the remaking of the separate self, or the perceived need for comparison. So when it seems I'm observing one out there, how quickly a judgment comes in and separates that one from me. Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, it separates that one from me. And I'm just sitting here watching this happen and realizing, whoa, look how fast that happened. And then I need to reorient. So the most important thing is not what's going on, it's reorienting. And today I'm reorienting toward and God Himself shall wipe away all tears. And if that language is too religious or romantic or whatever it seems to be, how do we say this plain vanilla? And the power we are settles everything. So anywhere we feel that movement of the separate self trying to take over and fix and manage, that stress is the indicator that I'm not letting myself participate in a solution that's been given. I'm trying to separately be the solution. And thank goodness for feeling, because feeling tells me when I'm up to my addictive habits. Pleasure, pain. You get pleasure out of thinking that you're doing something or fixing something. It reinforces the sense of separate self. And that, again, doesn't mean that we never seem to appear to do or fix or help. Of course we do. We're given little jobs, little instructions, little things to follow, and we follow them. But the decision is made by what we are together. And then we get informed of the decision, and then we follow the decision. That's harmony. So getting out of this old pattern or this old knee-jerk of, I've got to plan it, I've got to run it, I'm in charge, I have to be good enough, I have to fix it, I have to make sure nothing goes wrong, I gotta. We get to learn to set that down. Okay, so this is about looking and seeing. And when we have the patience to stop and look, it's about reinterpreting feeling. It's okay to still experience what I'm calling feeling, which I would also call ego's addictive highs and lows, which I would also call my own attempt to reinforce my sense of separate self versus yours, and make a separate self for you. What I call feelings all wrapped up in that. Feeling is a blessing because it lets us know when we've wandered off in the wrong direction again. Like sometimes in a hospital, there's a bed alarm, and when a wandering patient gets up out of the bed, it beeps and it lets the nurses know, hey, go look for this one. They're on the move. And that's what feeling is. It lets you know something needs a response. And when you know that's the only reason for feeling now, it gets easier and easier to respond to it because there are fewer emergencies. Feeling isn't convincing you. You are happy because you had ego-positive feelings. And it's not convincing you as a being, you're a sad being because you just experienced ego-negative feelings. You just know it's part of the addiction cycle, and you're still experiencing it, and you can feel. And it's good that you can, because it's the perfect alarm. That's what it is. It's the alarm. But you don't lose anything by understanding that feeling was an illusion I made to stay in my addiction. That doesn't make you what we would call inhuman or uncaring, because the being you are is generous, beautiful, loving, gentle, kind, without opposite. Okay, all those qualities without opposite, because what we are never could be opposed. We just imagined that we could oppose it, that we could make something that would interrupt harmony. But we can't. Even though we've given ourselves the experience, it's a fantasy, it's a daydream, it's not us. So we don't lose anything in recognizing the kind of mechanical function of feeling. It's just an alarm clock. Because here's the true gift we've been covering up with up and down feelings. The joy we share, the peace we are. And we practice tuning into this and resting here. So when feeling the highs and lows are a cue, hey, you're wandering away from your resting place. Rest in peace with all you call other. Rest in love, in the true being you share with everyone and everything. Across all of time and space, prior to and beyond time and space, take a moment. Give yourself this love, this gift, this expansiveness. Then we can see and appreciate what's truly here. There may seem to be illusions in different forms everywhere, but we're learning how to look through them and rest in what is truly here for everyone and what can run the show, the harmony amongst us that can make all the decisions. So more and more, we learn how to be aware of this and to trust it. Our decisions can come from two places. The illusion of the grasping, competitive, separate self, or what we are together. And we start being able to discern those two decision sources. And it's okay if it takes time and practice. Of course it does. And I lost my train of thought. But decisions can come from two places. What we are not and pretend to be, and what we are. And we start to prefer one over the other. Okay. So spirit can take it from here is a helpful way of looking at things. And to just laugh when it feels like there's an uprising and something needs to be done, an uprising of that restless one that would try to take over. That's not you, and that's not anyone else. No matter how restless or domineering they may appear to be, it's just the illusion we wanted to see. That rhymes. It's not them. The being that you share with them is who they are. So in any situation where we find ourselves, we can take a moment to rest. Spirit, what we are together, can take it from here. So the illusion of myself as a separate one, and the illusion of that one straining to keep up with things or run things, that can melt. That can dry up. That can go away. What's here is here always, and it always was here. And what's here is what we are together. And what we are together can supply us with all the information we need. It's like an information stream. We still seem to need an information stream with instructions because we're still experiencing bodies. Well, these bodies have been repurposed. They're communication devices for love. Love is what we've always been together. We've never not been love. So now we can find out today, how would love use this instrument of the body to communicate love? We don't know. We find out. We find out moment to moment. So part of our practice, for as long as we still need a practice, is going into the heart of each moment and receiving the instructions that are here for us. And anywhere we're in a pattern or a routine, I certainly am in many places, I am not instructed to attempt to destroy those patterns and routines, because patterns and routines, our insistence on staying with those is like fear of the unknown, right? Trying to impose our own order. And I'm not instructed to tear any of these apart. It's more like the structure is just watch, just stop when you can, just listen, just look, just see. Even the problem of seeming to have patterns and repetitions and routines and things you depend on and you want to repeat those same things. I have a way I like to load the dishwasher. And that's all fine, because Spirit knows how to handle those and even make use of them. Anything we still have hanging around, it doesn't have to be, as A Course in Miracles says, an obstacle to peace. Spirit can take whatever it is from us, whatever routine we're attached to. Spirit can take it, take charge of it, and use it to bring peace about. So you don't have to force yourself to stop anything. You don't have to try to change your behaviors. But if if we make a priority of stopping when we can to reorient, then we just watch as things shift. And we don't have to even interpret or analyze as they shift, but they do shift. We become more aware of the instructions that are here for us, and we become better able to follow those instructions. And we become better able to see all those we call other is tuned into the same harmony and fully capable of doing their harmonious part in every situation we experience with them. That's a big part of it too. The confidence building the confidence in the being we all share. And has nothing to do with anyone's spiritual training or past, or it's just what can this moment bring all of us? What harmony can this moment bring us? No one has to be what we would call spiritually evolved to participate easily in the harmony they are, the harmony they share with you. That's what they were created for. So what we learn in our spiritual explorations is just how to allow everyone to show up doing what they were created to do. And it gets funny because it's very simple. It's like we have to take very complex roots to remember the very simple. So just the reminder, when you don't feel good while you're saying or thinking something, it's because you're giving reality to an illusion. And the you is me, of course. This message is for me. I just receive it and speak it this way. And I also re-listen to it later more than once. And if it resonates for you, then it does. And if it doesn't, that's also fine. So when you don't feel good while you're saying or thinking something, it's because you're giving reality to an illusion. And we can get very clear about this. I no longer want to do that. I feel done giving reality to illusions. So I welcome feeling when it happens, because, and what I mean by that is a disturbance. Your state of being isn't disturbing. The peace you are isn't disturbing. But feeling can feel disturbing. So we can welcome feeling for that purpose. So we know, oh, look at that. I started to give reality to illusions. And it feels terrible. And now let's remember, spirit is what all of us are together. Everyone and everything. And spirit can take it from here. And from this point, I'll have ideas. I'll be directed. And everyone will. That confidence in what and who appears to be other is just as important as the perception of hearing and being able to follow instructions for oneself. Everyone's in the same thing together. Everyone shares the same beingness. Everyone is the same peace. Everyone is the same joy. And yes, in time it doesn't appear that way. But the power of what we are together is not limited at all by how things appear in time. So this explains miracles. So as we turn toward the power of the miracle today, the power of transformation, the power of perception correction, we turn toward the power we share with everyone. It's the power everyone shares. And it's right here. And it is easy. And it's only hard when we've taught ourselves very carefully to do something different. But once we start to see that, and to see that there's another direction away from feeling toward being in which to turn, then that becomes easier and easier. And we start to see the results of that in our interactions. When we believe we have a problem for a moment, but then we release and understand it's going to get taken care of, and I don't know how. But if I have a part to play, I will be informed. So there's the simplicity that's here for everyone today. Okay, thank you.